beautiful. He then came back and he finished his career as an art professor in 1954. He made many paintings of the camp in Ely. That was one of his favorite, symbols, I suppose, of UC Berkeley. But I do many presentations about my grandfather. There's a lot of interest. His art has been collected. And what I really try to emphasize is where he was when he came on campus in 1932. It wasn't the first time he came to Berkeley. We know he was here in January 1927 because we found a sketch that he was down there right where we started, actually, at Westgate. And so he was visiting somebody here on the campus. They were, the Obata family at that time was living in San Francisco, traditional Japantown, right on Sutter Street, right across the street from what is currently JCCNC. But got on a ferry, came over, was hanging out with friends. So Obata had many friends in the Japanese community, other artist friends, Matsusaburo Hibi, very well-known friendship. The two of them ran the art schools in the Tanforan and Topaz. He was very good friends with American artists, and he was never separated as a Japanese artist per se. He considered himself part of the art scene here. He was exhibiting together with an international group in 1922 in San Francisco. By the time he is invited to teach here in 1932, he was at the, I would say, almost the apex of his career that he had developed for his decades of being in California. So he had already gone to Yosemite National Park. He had done many of the Yosemite images that people are pretty familiar with now. And he had gone back to Japan temporarily for 2 years in 1928 to 1930 because his father died, but he didn't stay. Dragged the family over, dragged the family back. What was going on? I don't know. I never was able to talk to him when he was alive and ask these questions, but I feel he was so embedded in the experience of living in California, interacting with the nature of California, and having friends in the art world. So his friendships included, we're looking at the Camp of Ely. That was designed by architect John Galen Howard, and the building here, Wheeler Hall, John Galen Howard. There are many buildings here. It was Galen Howard's son, Robert Howard, who went on that Yosemite trip back in 1927. They were good friends. There's a gallery, an art gallery in still called Worthwriter Gallery. That was the other friend that we went to sketch and paint in Yosemite. And there were other artists who were very much part of the art world. And once he comes to campus, he's invited by these artists to teach. It was a very successful introduction. The students were fascinated by the technique. And he became friends with staff, faculty here. And so the picture that's being circulated around, you can see it's a cover image for the Cal Alumni magazine. So the man who was running the Cal Alumni Association was named Sibley, Robert Sibley. For those of you who know this area, there's a park up here called Sibley Park in the East Bay Regional Park District, because Sibley was very much an environmentalist and determined to preserve the nature of this Bay Area. So they had a lot of things in common, and I want to read just a couple quotes. And it's just more to think about how could this Issei come here in 1903 during the exclusion era. He's denied citizenship, owning property. He's treated as a second-class citizen from the get-go, and yet he became very, very grounded here. He didn't feel separated from this environment. He was so attuned to nature here. and he shared that with his students. So this is things he said. Excuse me. No one should pass through 4 years of college without being given the knowledge of beauty and the eyes with which to see it. Early on, he had said, in 1920, I dedicate my paintings first to the great nature of California, which has always given me great lessons of comfort and nourishment. Second, to the people who share the same thoughts, as though drawing water from one river under one tree. And finally, this is a writing from 1930s while he was at UC Berkeley. He said, the point of view I have been taking to guide students is unless we have contact with nature and natural beauty, we cannot have happiness. Nature, art, and understanding, these are things we all need in our lives. And that philosophy is what he taught on a daily basis to his students. It wasn't the easy class. We've seen his grade sheets, and maybe one person got an A minus. Everybody got B's and C's. He had a very strict protocol to center yourself, be contemplative, grind the sumi, and clear your mind before you put the brush onto the paper. Very, very, deep respect for materials and the art process that was new and very fresh to the students, especially in the 1930s. And they responded to it. He was a very popular teacher, and he was very well respected, and he always felt he was at the right place at the right time doing what he was doing. So that's this short intro to his work. Happy to answer other questions as we walk around. And yes, be sure you see the picture of Sather Gate. It's the view of somebody walking on Telegraph Avenue, and you can see that the cars come right up to this gate. That Stroll Plaza and Stroll Hall, that was all built after the war, even though it looks like it's been here forever. But that's actually a relatively new building. So my intro now to Evelyn.